ladies, this is part 2 of my full guide about the flowers. Today we'll talk about how to get one new flower and new places to plant them, how to crossbreed and get so many new colors, the full process of how to go from seed to bloom as it is coded in the game, coming directly from Chelsea, a few of my tips, and a few frequently asked questions and facts, and also tests from multiplayer. So let's go. So first of all, if you manage to get the visitor Lou up until the 5th star, you will get a new quest from him, and he will introduce you how to get the hibiscus, which is a new flower that actually, by just planting your base seed in the seaside resort, you will create a new type of flower, and it's the hot pink hibiscus. At the moment, I was not able to get any other colors than the hot pink. Even though I tried to crossbreed it with other flowers, I was not able yet. So we'll see that in part 3. Now let's go to how can we crossbreed the flowers to get more colors. First of all, you need to know about the 3 default color for each flower. Then you have to look at the master palette that has been provided by Sunblink. For example, the Dandelion have red, yellow, and white as their default color. By simple color theory, if you mix red and yellow, you will get orange. And if you mix yellow and white, you will get cream, which is actually the tint color of yellow. So each time you get the tint color that is the second line in the master palette by mixing with white. So if you mix red with white, you will get a warm pink. And if you crossbreed now orange and white, you might get peach. That is the tint of orange. And if you breed red and orange, you will get a coral. And if you breed that coral with white, you will get a blush, which is the tint of coral. So that means that there are 3 different layers of crossbreeding just for the dandelions. For the bell buttons, you have yellow, blue, and white. If you mix yellow and blue, you will get green. If you mix yellow with white, you will get cream, that is the tint of yellow. If you mix blue and white, you will get ice, that is the tint of blue. And then if you mix green and white, you will get mint, that is the tint of green. And if you mix green and yellow, you will get lime, that is a new color. And if you breed this lime with white, you will get pistachio, who is the tint of lime. For the penstemon, the default colors are green, sky, and white. So if you mix green and white, you will get a mint, that is the tint color of green. If you mix sky and white, you will get a cloud, that is the tint color of sky. And if you mix green and sky, you will get a teal, that is a new color. And if you mix teal with white, you will get seafoam, that is the tint of teal. And for Tulias, there's only 2 additional easy colors that you can get. The default colors are red, yellow, and violet. And if you mix red and yellow, you will get orange. And because there's not a very easy mix of red and violet or yellow and violet, you actually don't use violet for this. And you use a red with the new orange that you got, and you get coral. And so those are the basic crossbreeding colors inside of each species. But we have been seeing people getting other crazy colors, and that is by crossbreeding between species. And sometimes they use patterned violet Tulias to get other colors. We are not exactly sure about what will bring what at the moment, and that will be in part 3. But at the moment, you still have 18 new colors that you can play with to discover. So good luck with that already. If you go on the Discord, Meave has uploaded charts of all the possible flower beds in both the meadow and the seaside resort, so you can basically maybe print it and decide your planting patterns where you want to do that. Basically what you want is if you're aiming for a specific crossbreed color, you want to be sure that you have the two colors together and that you maximize the quantity of empty spots around your two colors. As you progressed and you have made most of the crossbreeds colors that you want, you can remove all the other ones that you don't need anymore. You can just maybe put them somewhere to just keep making blooms that you can compost for more fertilizer, and you can focus on maybe having more spots of possible breeding for the ones that you're looking for. And you can also try to crossbreed between species now if you have everything, for example, with the new hibiscus or with other colors of other flower types. Here's the whole process of getting a flower. First, you have the seed, and you can see the dirt pile with the seed in the middle. Then the second step is the sprout. Then you have a step that's called grown. Then you have the bud, and then you have the blossomed or the bloomed. And then you can actually take the flower and it will go in your inventory in a different position. It takes X days, depending on the type, to go from seed to grown, and Y days to go from grown to blossomed. Apparently, different flowers have different time to grow. Interesting. When you pluck a blossom, it goes back to the grown state, and it will take Y days to grow again. Watering a plant basically takes away 1 day. You can also get a seedling if you trowel a flower that is grown or above. When you plant a seedling, it goes to the ground stage and will take Y days to grow again. You can get a seed packet if you trowel a flower that is below grown. And you can get a seed packet from any non-rare, non-pattern flower using the seed dispenser. Seed packets are tradable, but seedlings are not tradable. Fertilizers has two functions. It encourages propagation and it provides a chance of the fertilized flower getting a pattern. Propagation happens naturally with a low percentage chance. Each flower has a set default color. Colors can be blended through propagation. A non-default color is called a crossbreed. In theory, propagation should always start at sprout stage, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Now I've seen propagation at seed state. So now let's go for some of my tips. I suggest that you first fertilize and water before you trowel the plant to check the color. Because after you plant it back, you cannot water it or fertilize it again. So you need to do it before. If you are already at ground stage, you will not lose a day by replanting. If you are at bud or bloomed stage, you will get back to the grown stage and technically lose 1 day. If you have a limited fertilizer and cannot fertilize all the flowers you have, I would prioritize the flowers that have never bloomed before. Because once a flower have bloomed, it will not be able to get a pattern in the future. And that means that the non-bloomed flowers have two possibilities of doing things with the fertilizer, is getting a pattern and propagation. And if you fertilized a bloomed flower or a flower that had bloomed in the past, you will only get the possibility of propagation. But if you also have a few specific flowers that you know that you want a crossbreed from, you can also fertilize those. Another tip is that I keep one of each of the base flowers and even the crossbreed flowers displayed on the flower bed, on the meadow plaza, and also on the seaside resort visitors houses. So just in case you lose one or you accidentally compost something, you will still have a backup just in case, and you can take it and put back another day in your backup. Now that you can plant your base seeds also in the resort to make hibiscus, I would suggest making a few hibiscus before going back to composting your base seeds again. Here's a few facts. A patterned flower cannot be fertilized again. The color of a new spawned propagated flower is influenced by all the 4 flowers around and all the 4 flowers diagonally. So all the 8 spots all around this flower. And all the flowers around at any stage can influence the new color. That means that if it's a new spawn that just arrived before the one we are looking at, this color can still influence the second spawn flower that came here. So the order that the new spawns are generated actually mean that they can influence each other. You can grow flowers without watering them or fertilizing them. This is just slower, but you will not have flowers be destroyed or dry or anything if you forgot to water them. Propagation can happen with only one flower, but it's very rare. When you pick up a seed or a flower or a sprout, it will come in your inventory at the very end of the list for that specific flower. So if you need to look up which one you just picked up, find this list of all this flower, and this is the last one. When you trade flowers, it will be only one by one, and you cannot mass trade flowers. After 1.6, the flowers that have bloomed will be locked, so they won't have a chance to become patterned anymore, but the fertilizer still will help with the propagation. It is possible that you did not get all the colors of one seed from Wish Me Mail, and in that case you will have to trade, and you can look at my Discord or the official Discord. You cannot lose fertilizer. Every time you apply fertilizer to a plant, you're getting the chance of that flower to develop a pattern. So if you mistakenly just use fertilizer and then you pick up the flower, that's perfect, because actually then you can check if it got a pattern or not, and you cannot fertilize it after having replanted it anymore anyways. So that's what you should do. I have done a lot of testing in multiplayer. We cannot use the machines, we cannot water the flowers or fertilize the flowers or plant new seeds or even take a bloom from somebody else's island. And you cannot even use your trowel. We are allowed to trade the picked up flowers in the normal color, the crossbreed colors, and the patterned flowers. As of 1.5.1, we cannot trade anymore the sprouts of the normal flowers, crossbreed flowers, or patterned flowers. And we can trade the seed bags of the normal flowers and the crossbreed flowers. The seed bags and the fertilizer are in the backpack tab when trading and not in the flower tab. You can trade the basic seeds that you pick up on your island that are actually in the food inventory and not in the backpack. And those will turn into your native seed in the meadow or into hibiscus if you plant them in the seaside resort. And this will add up to how many you already had. And the seed packets, they will always stay whatever they were. As of 1.5.1, we still do not have the flowers from the Color Blaze event or with the trim pattern. There will be a part 3 because as of today we still do not know everything there is to know about crossbreeding between species. But if you have not watched the part 1, click over there, and if the part 3 is already ready, click over there.